In this video, I'm going to give you all the tips you need to know to organize, plan, and make an incredible trip to the Amalfi Coast, one of the most beautiful places in the world, yes, but it's also one of the most complicated to plan. Transportation, how to get there, when to go, there are several important tips you need to know, and we will tell you all about them here, how to get to the places, how transportation works there, where to stay, how much it costs, where to eat, what money to bring, or everything you need for your trip to the Amalfi Coast. So don't forget to give us a like and buckle up. Hey guys, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Gabriel Lorenzi, creator of the Grupo Dicas, the largest travel content network in the world, and today we're going to talk about all the tips you need to know about the Amalfi Coast. We've made several videos here on the Amalfi Coast. There's the perfect itinerary for the Amalfi Coast, the cheap and practical itinerary for the Amalfi Coast, the best beaches on the Amalfi Coast, which cities to visit there, and now the complete video with all the tips, everything you need to know about the best time, which town to stay in, how to do it, the tours, how to get around, parking, restaurant, which town, how many days, everything you need to put together your itinerary for the Amalfi Coast. We're now winding up. So here we go. It's always good to start at the beginning. The Amalfi Coast is in the Campania region, a region in the south of Italy. You'll be about 2 or 3 hours from Rome. By train, that's 2.5 hours. It's quicker by car. It'll take you about 3 hours to get there. So it's below Rome. There's the Amalfi Coast, which got its name because of the beautiful coastline there with several towns in the Campania region. And there are other towns further up. Coming from Rome, generally most people arrive via Rome and Milan, which are the biggest airports and have the most flights and promotions, so you will definitely arrive in Milan or Rome. Rome is closer to the Amalfi Coast. If you arrive in Milan, you will have to travel a bit further, but from Rome, you're closer and you're already on your way. In 2.5 hours, you will reach Sorrento. Sorrento is the first town on the Amalfi Coast for those coming from the north of central Italy. So Sorrento is where this stretch of coast begins, and Sorrento is a very nice city that people use as a base for the practical and cheap itinerary that I made the video about it here. Check it out later, it's really cool. We recommend staying in Sorrento, which is much cheaper, the hotels are better, and you can do everything from there. Take the ferry to any other town, Amalfi, Positano, so it's a very popular city to base yourself in. I don't think it's that essential in terms of tourism, but it's worth a base. Then there's one of the most famous you will heard about, which is Sorrento. There's also Naples, a little further up from Sorrento. It's off the Amalfi Coast, but it's a very nice city because it's very close to it. There are ferries from there to the Amalfi Coast. It's an incredible city, well worth a visit, and right next to Pompeii, another incredible city that was buried by volcanic ash. It's another great city, so you have the option of including Pompeii and Naples in your itinerary, or excluding them and going straight to the Amalfi Coast. And arriving on the Amalfi Coast, now for the main cities. Guys, I'm going to go in order of the ones I like best, okay? Positano for me, it's the Amalfi Coast, the reflection of the Amalfi Coast. It was the town we liked the most. If you can, stay there for at least 2 days. Accommodation in Positano is one of the most expensive because the towns there, these little towns, people, they're small. There are few hotels and lots of tourists, so the prices are expensive. To stay in these towns, you need to spend a little more, but Positano I thought was the most beautiful and the most worthwhile and worth investing a little more in. So let's go, guys. The cities are Positano. To get to Positano, if you're in Sorrento, you can take a ferry in an hour and a bit here there. There are buses. There are several ways to get to Positano. If you're driving, you can also get there, but it's a bit difficult to park. You have to go very early because there is very little parking. If you find a hotel with parking, you're halfway there. I'll mention here in the video description, guys, the hotel we stayed in. The hotel is gonna be there, which was very good and which has parking. So if you have a rental car, it's wonderful. You get there super easily and super quickly. Another town that's the second, in my opinion, the most interesting to visit there is Amalfi. Amalfi is a little to the right of Positano. It's very close. It will take you maybe 40 or 50 minutes to get from one to the other. It's also a beautiful town and gave its name to the Amalfi Coast because Amalfi Beach is one of the most famous beach there, so Amalfi is another beautiful town. They both have beaches. There's that mountain with all the hotels, those rocks. The beaches there are made of stone, but some are made of sand, but the main ones are all made of stones. They're a bit different from what we're used to, but they're beautiful places. So Positano and Amalfi are the two at the top of the tourist list. There's a third one called Ravello. It's one of the only ones that doesn't have a beach because it's on top of a mountain cliff, but it's beautiful because it has a slightly different structure, tourist attractions, and a very nice town to spend the day in. Okay, I don't think it's worth staying there, but as Ravello is very close to Amalfi, when you're in Amalfi you can take a quick trip there and in a few minutes you will be in another very nice and very famous town. So in my opinion, the best are Positano, Amalfi, and Ravello. And Praiano is a town between Positano and Amalfi down here, which isn't as well known, but there's a beautiful little beach there, super pretty, heavenly, and some nice hotel options that are much cheaper than in Positano and Amalfi. It's a town that some people also use to spend the day or to stay in, and there's another one that isn't actually officially on the Amalfi Coast, but it's only 30 minutes away, which is the island of Capri. The island of Capri is one of the most famous islands in the world. If you're in Sorrento, you can reach the island of Capri in 30 minutes. If you're in Naples, a little further up the coast, you will reach the island of Capri in an hour and a half by ferry. Positano can also reach the island of Capri in 40 minutes by ferry or boat, so it's a very easy place to get to know. No matter which town you're in, you will be close to the island and the boat trips aren't expensive. So the tour we took, guys, I'll even leave it down here in the description of the video together with everything else. The website where we buy all the tickets, tours, and discussions from all over Europe, especially those in Italy. It has the best prices, the cheapest place, and it's very good. There are all the tours there for you to see, and then you put it on, leaving town, you're in Positano, you type it into the website, Positano, it will show you all the tours that leave from there. There are tours to the Isle of Capri that leave from there, and from several other towns. If you're in Sorrento, there's also Naples, all the others, and it's a very nice boat that takes you all the way around the island of Capri, so you can get off and see it. So it's a very special day. Some people stay on the island of Capri. The price is high, but it's also a very nice experience, but most tourists end up opting for this day trip. You can also go by ferry, but the boat trip is a little bit more expensive and much more comfortable. It's a smaller boat. Ferries are those gigantic boats that are just for transportation. The tour boats will drop you off at the places, show you the sights, have a guide with you, so I think it's very nice. Take a look and you will see that the price isn't expensive. It's worth including the island of Capri. As I said, everything is going to be down here in the description of the video and in the first fixed comment, and then you can see your itinerary. And I know it's difficult to put together an Amalfi Coast itinerary. Italy in general has a lot of cities, so everyone gets confused. I stay here, stay there, stay 2 days, 1 day, 3 days in Rome. It's a lot. There are a lot of questions, so I've tried to summarize all the tips here to try to help you with your itinerary. Watch the video afterwards for our itinerary of the Amalfi Coast and all the tips, as well as the most beautiful beaches on the Amalfi Coast, which will help you plan the rest of your trip. And now you know how the geography of the Amalfi Coast works, where the towns are located, and now I'm going to give you some tips on how to make the most of your trip there. One of the first things I told you here is that most of the beaches are made of stone. Yes, people who are used to paradisiacal beaches in South America, the Caribbean, it's different. So one tip I'd like to give you, which really helps, is to wear those little water shoes. I don't know if you've seen it. I'll put a picture here for you to see. It's cheap, especially for children. If you're going with a child, put on these shoes and you will be able to walk easily because the pebbles get hot. If you want to dive, the beaches that are beautiful, take a snorkel or take swimming goggles that you can use on your own. You will be able to dive, you'll see fish, incredible aquatic life. It's really cool, and the little shoe really helps you to know where you're stepping. It sounds silly, but if you go there and don't take your shoes, you will regret it. You will remember this tip, so take them with you. They're cheap and they'll help you a lot. Another tip is about the beaches. They have little structures. Some have a little more, other less. Take a look at the video we made about the best beaches on the Amalfi Coast. I explain what each one is like, which ones are the most beautiful, which ones have the most structure and the most stalls, but in general, they're a bit more rustic, so be prepared. Always take a large towel with you, so that if you need it, you have your towel to sit on. It's not cheap to rent a chair and a parasol, so you have to be prepared for that. There are some that don't even have a restaurant, so always take some water, a snack, a protein bar, some chocolate, something to eat during the day, because it's a bit more rustic, more natural. There are some beaches that have a bit more structure, but there are others that are more deserted. They're beautiful. I think they're even more beautiful, much more beautiful, but they don't have all that structure that we're used to, so you have more or less come to terms with that. There's nothing much to do. You just have to keep your things and then enjoy. And now the transportation. I've already explained more or less in general how it works. In general, I think it's like this. If you're already going to take the car, if you're already on a trip from Rome, touring Tuscany, where the car helps a lot, it's very important, and you're going to the Amalfi Coast, I think it's super worth it. You can leave the car either in Sorrento, go to Sorrento and park it. It's much easier to park the car there, leave the car there, and then take the ferry rides. From Sorrento, you go to Positano and Amalfi. If you go to the island of Capri, you can do these round trips. It'll be cheaper and less of a hassle than take your own car, but maybe cheaper if you take the car and go to Positano, Amalfi. It will be cheaper, but the only thing I'd like to point out about the car there is that there's a lot of traffic in the main towns, because they're very short roads, they're very little parking, so it's crazy in the morning. A lot of people go there and can't park, they have to go back. It's a huge inconvenience. That's why I'm warning you in advance. So if you're driving, one tip is either try to leave it in Sorrento and stay there, or if you're staying in Positano, take the hotel that has the parking lot. I've already mentioned it and it's here in the video description. Take a look, you will see that it's gonna be amazing. Once you're in the hotel on the Amalfi Coast, you have several ways of getting around. You can take a cab there, talk to the hotel, many of which already offer this service to take people to places. You can also rent a scooter for those who like motorcycles and know how to ride, because it's not so easy. The roads are a bit difficult to get around on, but you can rent a scooter and go in two people and get to know the places. It's the easiest, quickest and cheapest way too. You can't book in advance there. You will have to go to the hotel. The hotels usually have partnerships, and you can ask, where do I rent a scooter? They will direct you. It's not cheap. You rent it for days. It's super easy. And the car, a car tip, if you're renting a car in Italy, use the price comparator. It's an incredible website. We've been using it for years. It searches for prices at all the rental companies and shows you unbeatable prices. It's the cheapest place around. We can rent a car very cheaply. I'll leave the link below, guys. Take a look, and I'll also give you the link to the train ticket finder, which will help you a lot if you want to make these journeys from Rome to Naples, for example. It takes an hour and a half. It's a really nice trip. From Naples to Sorrento, it's another 40 minutes. You can make the journey straight from Rome to Sorrento, stopping only in Naples, get off and take another train. So there are several options. Go to the website and you will be able to find your way around. I'll also give you the ferry website, where you can see the ferry transportation, which is that big ship just for transportation. It's not beautiful, nothing like that. It's just for getting from one city to another. You can take a car on it, but you have to pay extra. I don't recommend it. I think it's better to leave the car there and go back and forth doing the tours without the car. There are also boat trips that I highly recommend. These are private tours. There are also bus tours. Check the ticket website later. We use them a lot. There are several. If you are in Sorrento, put in Sorrento and all the excursions that leave from there will appear. If you're in Naples too, even from Rome, if you put Rome in there, the destinations will show excursions to Pompeii and Naples, which is a very nice day trip. The excursion to the Amalfi Coast, you can do all the tours with a specialized agency, a guide, and something a little bit more private. It's a bit more expensive, but it's a great experience and you really enjoy it. You're on these little boats. It's the most beautiful thing on the Amalfi Coast, because when you're on the coast, you see the sea. When you're on the sea, you see the coast. It's a scenario quite unlike anything we've ever seen in the world. So I highly recommend that you explore this part of the boat trips, because sometimes you look and say, it's a bit more expensive, I'll take the ferry. But the boat trip, it's much more comfortable, much more touristy. It stops in some places, you can snorkel. It's very nice, and it will help you explore the whole area of the Amalfi Coast and having a lot of fun with that paradisiacal look from the boat trip just for you guys. It's amazing. And a very important piece of information when to go to the Amalfi Coast. The periods of July and August, which are the European summer, are the most crowded. It's high season. Prices will be much more expensive, sometimes more than double, much more expensive indeed, and everything will be very crowded. My tip is, if you can, a very good month is the end of May. I think it's great because it's starting to warm up and it's still very empty. June is starting to fill up a little bit more, the weather is starting to improve, it's also a good time. But July, August, I think it gets very crowded. We also like to go to Europe during the European summer at the end of September because the season is coming to an end, the weather is easing up, but it's still hot. You can enjoy the beach, you can enjoy everything, but it's much emptier. But try to avoid July and August. Gabriel, I want to save as much as possible, I'm short of money, but I want to visit the Amalfi Coast. You can go in other seasons. It's almost winter, you can enjoy it. You just won't go to the beach, you won't go in the water, but you can walk around the city and take in the beautiful views. A lot of people go at this time of the year, not in heavy winter, which is December, January, but for example, October and November, March and April, you can already enjoy the view. You just won't enjoy the summer in Italy. It will be a bit chilly and you will need a jacket, but you can still go and it's a much cheaper time. So think about it, do some research and you will get an idea of the price. A nice tip, check out the hotels we've stayed in below, play around with the dates so you can see how the date influences and changes the price of accommodation. There are also 2 tips for you to save on accommodation there, which isn't cheap. I'll give you the link below. It's a website that's a hotel search engine. It's the biggest in the world, I'm sure you know it. We use them a lot, and why? They have the largest collection of hotels and the best prices. We always trust them, but they have a very good free cancellation policy. This is a tactic we use and it helps us save a lot on the hotel. Why? Advance notice is the key to get cheap accommodation anywhere in the world, especially on the Amalfi Coast where the towns are so small and there are so few hotels. So what do? You already know the date you're going there, you've checked in, you've found a nice hotel, book it. Use this website that's here in the description because you get free cancellation. Book guaranteed. If you then need to change the room, the city, or even cancel, it's just one click. There is no bureaucracy at all. You can cancel at no cost, but at least you're guaranteed a good price. If you start researching, you will see that in a matter of a week or 2, prices go up a lot and become much more expensive, guys. So this is a tip for saving a lot on accommodation on every place in the world. If you buy in advance, of course, you're gonna get cheaper hotels and cheaper prices all the time. And the free cancellation helps you a lot in case you need to cancel for any reason. And down here in the description and in the first comment, I'll leave all the links to the places we've known for years and know are the best places to hire everything. The travel SIM card to use your cell phone, that is very important. It's the best and cheapest. Travel insurance, which is a must for Europe. A price comparison tool. The comparison finds prices at half the price of what you're likely to find in travel agencies. The same good, great, fast, cheap insurance. There is also a search engine for train tickets, ferry tickets, and tour tickets. It's all there. The hotels we stayed in are all down here in the description. Just use it as a guide to plan your entire trip there. And that's it, guys. I hope you liked the video. If you like it, please don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to the channel because that really helps us a lot. And stay tuned for lots of cool videos. I'm going to leave you with the 2 most important ones to watch from Italy so that you can have a smooth and hassle-free trip. So thank you very much, guys, and have nice trips.